Cool, so now we've got our kind of standard sound effects going on, and the transition effects is what we want to look at next. So I'm just going to move these all down a few, and I'm going to add in my fills, my transition effects. So I'll just drop these into the project. And these are fills that I've just got from my sample packs and that I've sampled myself and from the Sonic Academy kind of packs, and they're really nice fills. And what I like to do is I don't like to just kind of find a single fill in a sample pack and just use that, because it's very standard. Everyone else can use that, anyone could find it, and people will recognize the fills that you're using. So I like to kind of mix and match and really kind of go to town and find lots of different fills and add them together to make them kind of into a new fill itself. So let's add these to the fill channels, and I'm going to add this fill 3 to a new one, and as well as fill 4 to a new one. So let's start with fill 1, and I'll just cut this snare. So it sounds pretty cool. I like the start of it. I'm not so sure about that snare at the end there. Sounds a bit kind of strange. So I'm going to just cut that very, very first bit. And that sounds pretty cool. It's got some nice kind of sounds in there. Bit of EQ. Now let's have a look at this second one. I like these first kind of 4 notes, but I'm not so sure about that last kind of white noise, so let's just get rid of that. Starting to come together, and let's add in this third fill here. Let's see what that sounds like. Kind of that snappy kind of psytrance zap sound that you hear in quite a lot of side tunes. I'm going to do something different with this. I'm going to add some delay. So we're going to go to ping pong. Let's pull the pan to the left, offset to the right, and I'm going to change the time tempo to 6. So it kind of plays on the offbeat. Now let's add some more reverb, as I want this to be quite a big sounding sound effect. Let's up the time, the decay, and let's keep the rest as it is. So that sounded quite nice, but it's a bit of overkill at the moment. So let's go ahead and add a sidechain. This is something that I really like to do, is to automate the sidechain at different points of the mix. So I'm allowing the sound to come through first, and then I'm going to sidechain the reverb afterwards. So I'm just going to create an automation clip on the mix amount of the sidechain. So it starts off with no sidechain playing, and then when I pull this up here, it's going to be, the sidechain is going to be turned on. So you can hear that the reverb is being sidechained after the effect is played, which is quite nice. And then fill 4, let's just have a listen to this one. Sounding pretty cool, and I think I'm going to just take those snare and kind of tom fills at the end there. Let's just add a EQ. So that sounded pretty cool. Oops, on the wrong one. And then maybe let's have a look at going into the panning option, and let's try and automate the panning so it goes from left to right. Just to give it a little bit kind of extra. So now let's have a look and see what this sounds like with everything in the mix. So that's starting to sound quite nice. I'm liking the sound of these fills coming together. This kind of zappy fill, didn't really hear it much, so maybe let's kind of move this over here. And let's see if that can be used as a kind of very short sounding fill in the middle of the track. That was a little bit better, but it's still kind of quiet in the mix. So maybe let's just get rid of the reverb a little bit. And of course, we need to move the mix amount. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Very nice having it in that kind of, just that little transition bit here. One last thing that I'm going to do that I mentioned before is we're going to add a final synth riser. So let's go on and to our synth riser pattern, and hopefully this is linked. It's not linked. There we go. Link to our synth riser mixer channel, and this is really quite up to you how you want to do these kind of synth risers. You can pretty much choose any single sound that you want. Kind of lead sounds work well, but you can get as creative and as crazy as you want. I like to kind of use this very standard one called Orange X, which is from the first of the default sound banks. And then we're working in the key of E. And let's make this 8 bars long. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to automate the pitch of the sound up by 2 octaves. So it's going to go up to first octave. So that's where it's going to finish up. So I want to think that that's going to be my top octave there. So in order to do this, we simply go to the bend range on Sylenth, and we turn it all the way up to 24, which means it goes 24 semitones, which is 2 octaves. And then we just move the pitch bend and we go to last tweet parameter, create automation clip. Let's just put our synth riser in. And then we're going to go and make sure that that's on 50, which is going to be your original key. So that's going to be the E that we've put it in here. And then we're going all the way up to 100%, which is going to be your top octave, or 2 octaves up, which is that one there. So there we go, as it's starting to rise up. So let's just add a bit of EQ, same as usual, same old process. But I really want to saturate this in reverb this time. I really want to add a lot of reverb, so we're almost hearing like a reverb sound being pitched instead. So I'm going to pull the reverb all the way up, 70 odd percent, and pull the dry down, so we're hearing much more of the wet sound. And then pull the low cut up a little bit. It's got a really kind of cool spacey sound to it. Next up, I'm just going to add the standard sidechain. And then one last thing, one more automation control, is I'm going to add a fruity balance, which is just a volume controller, and I'm going to automate the volume on there. And then I'm going to just pull down the volume so it's around 100%, around almost the last bar, or at least 80%, which is the default value. And let's have a listen to see how that sounds. So that's sounding pretty nice indeed, liking the way that that synth riser is working. Usually I'll only use that for really big kind of transitions when there's going to be a big change going on. So let's just try and see how these transitions work in terms of the mix. So we're just going to pull all of these. Maybe let's just pull, oh, we've gone too far. So we're imagining this is going to be at the start of the track. So that's sounding pretty nice. I'm liking those sound effects at the moment. They're working really well, the atmosphere effects and these cool little drum fills that we've got in there as well. Pretty much going to use those throughout the entire track, but there's no reason why you can't go more advanced and try and find some more sound effects and try and do some weird and wonderful things. As I mentioned at the start of this series, I'm not trying to teach you how to do anything kind of super creative, as that really is down to you, and being creative is something unique that I can't really teach you, but I can show you the kind of basics and the kind of tools you can use to try and become creative, how you can use those tools in your own kind of creative processes. But I think the important thing to take away from this is about the kind of drum fills, that you don't necessarily just have to use one drum fill. You can chop and slice and put multiple fills together. You know, sometimes I've taken 8 parts from 8 different drum fills and put them all together to create something sounding really good. The main thing is also adding the nice reverb and the delay to the sound effects to make sure that they've got that kind of spacey sound to really help those transitions sound smooth. That's it for this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.